Hey, welcome you guys. Today we're going to make some fall lollipops for Halloween and just fall in general. Now there are different types of clay you can use for these. You can do it with polymer clay if you want to. I'm going to do all of mine today with foam clay, and I'm going to show you how to do it that way. So to start off, I'm going to use my white foam clay. So I'm just going to condition my clay. I'm going to take about a third of it off. And I'm going to put the bigger piece aside, and then I'm going to take these two pieces and I'm going to break those in half. Doesn't need to be precise, just about half. And then for this one, I'm going to do yellow, orange, and white, kind of like candy corn colors. So I'm going to use yellow and pumpkin orange from Apple Barrel. So I'm just going to color one piece yellow and one piece orange, and then I'm just going to mix the paint into the clay. Okay, so be sure to wash your hands off in between because you don't want to mix these colors into your white clay. So now I'm just going to take this piece of white and I'm going to divide that in about half, and then I'm just going to roll this into a small log here. I'm going to save this piece for my next lollipop, so I'm just putting that aside. So I'm going to divide the yellow into two pieces, and I'm going to roll that out into a snake. I'm putting the second piece of yellow to the side. We're going to make two lollipops with these same colors, so I just wanted to get everything set up at one time. And then I'm going to break this yellow one into half, and I'll stick one on one side and then I'll put the other on the other side. And then I'm just taking off the excess pieces. And then I'm going to do the same with the orange, put one piece aside and then roll the other one out. And you can do these pieces as thick or as thin as you want. The thicker they are, the less white will show and the more color will show. So if you make them thinner, you'll have more white showing. So now we're going to take this whole thing and just roll it out into a snake. Okay, so you want it about this thickness. You don't want it too super thin, but you don't want it really thick either. And then we're just going to twist each end until we get a nice little twist on it. Be careful not to twist too much, because if you twist a lot, it'll start to shrink in those spots where it's twisted tight. And then I'm just going to take the end here and I'm going to start rolling it into itself. And you can also continue to twist as you roll it up. Be careful not to press it too hard together or you'll lose the definition of the different layers of the swirl. So just lightly touch it to the edge of what's before it. And then this little tail here, I'm just going to cut off this kind of weird end. And then I'll just kind of blend that into the lollipop. And then just go around and press in anything that needs to be shaped up a little bit. Get it looking nice and cute. Now this is kind of a smaller one. Of course, you can make them as big as you want them to be. You would just make a longer or thicker snake. So I'm going to let this dry before I put a stick in it, because if I try to stick a skewer or anything up in there right now, it's going to smush all of this together and it's going to ruin the whole look of the thing. Okay, so now let's do a different shaped one. So we're going to do the same process. We just want to roll this out a little bit, and then we want to add our pieces on, our little snakes onto it. Now for this one, I think I'm just gonna twist it as I go. I found on the last one, it seemed like it was easier for me if I just twisted it as I was going along rather than twisting it ahead of time too. I started to get some of those little spots I was telling you where it's twisted too much. So this one, I'm just gonna twist it as I go. So for this one, I'm gonna use a skewer. I'm gonna cut the end off because I want a nice end on it, and then just kind of round it up a little bit. Now I'm going to use the pointy end of this skewer because I don't want the pointy part on the bottom. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to twist as I go around. So you can see I had a twisty spot and it just broke right off. So I'm going to go back to where it's kind of thicker, and I'm just going to press that in there, and then I'm going to try to pick up where I left off there and hope that you can't see it. I think with this foam clay, because it molds together so well, you can hide the little spot there. And then I'm going to cut this end off too, because I want to make sure I have a nice edge there. So there's that spot that I kind of had to pick up. So I'm just going to kind of press that together, and I think it's going to be hidden pretty well. So there's the, I guess you could call it a unicorn pop or something. So that one's already on the stick, so we don't have to worry about that later. So I'm going to go ahead and set that one aside. And then I also wanted to make some with black. Now, with the foam clay, if you add black paint to the clay, you can a lot of times get it to a dark enough color, but you have to add a lot of paint or pigment powder, and it messes up the whole texture of the foam clay. So I just purchased black foam clay so I can avoid that situation. So we'll just want to condition this clay. I'm going to do this one with all 4 colors. So with the black, the orange, the yellow, and white. So I use the white as the base again. And then I'm just going to roll it out. We're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do a yellow piece on one side and an orange piece on the other side. You can do 2 of each if you want to, but you may not see much of the white then because it's going to be covered up a lot. So I'm going to do another unicorn pop with this one. So I'll just cut off the end. And I honestly don't know how far down to start this, so I just guess. I'm just guessing where to start. So I don't have any great tips for knowing where to begin. And this one didn't quite make it to the tip. So once my clay is dry, I'll just snip this tip off with my scissors and should be good to go. And then for the last one, I just thought we'll do black and orange. And I'm going to try to make this one a larger one, so I'm going to use a big chunk of clay. I just wanted to show you guys too. So I've been touching this black clay and my hands are not black. So that's really awesome. I wasn't sure if that was going to be an issue or not. So I'm just going to color this with my orange again. So I'm going to use the orange piece as my base. So I'm just going to roll that out just a little bit. And then my black one is going to be the little strips that I put on. So I think I'll do 3 strips of black on here. I want to make sure plenty of the orange still shows. So I have my end here. I'm just going to start rolling that in, and then I got to start twisting at the same time. And then I'm okay with the end I have here, so I'm not going to bother with chopping that one off. I can just bring it right up and kind of blend it in a little bit. I love how this one turned out. So cute. I think I'm going to make a black and white one off camera too, because I think that will look really cool, like Beetlejuice. That's what I was thinking when I was doing this one. Like, ooh, black and white would look like Beetlejuice. So what I'm going to do is let these dry, and then we need to come back and make them look glossy and put the sticks in these big swirly ones. So I'm going to let them dry overnight, and then I'll be back so we can do that. Okay, so my clay is all nice and dry, and so now I need to gloss these up. So first I'm going to put my skewer into the clay. So I'm going to use the pointy end to do this, and I'm going to make this part the bottom on mine where I ended the clay. And you want to just be really careful that the stick doesn't come out either side. And then I just push it up to about where it's to the middle or something, so it's nice and secure. And then because this one is so much smaller, I'm going to use a little bit smaller skewer for this one so it doesn't end up poking through the back side. To gloss these up, you can use Mod Podge, but sometimes when you do the Mod Podge on here on this clay, it turns out a little bit cloudy looking. So I like to use this Deco Art Duraclear Gloss Varnish, and this gives it a shinier finish and you don't get that cloudy look. So I'm just going to paint this on just the same as I would with Mod Podge or paint or anything else. Just put a light coat on, and I like to do 2 coats on here just to make sure it gets really nice and glossy. And if you want to do both sides at the same time, you can just put the gloss on and then just stick the skewer into like a piece of styrofoam, or you can poke holes into a box and do that to stand them up. So I wanted to also show you this. So if you want to not have the wooden stick showing, you can slide a straw a paper straw over your stick and just put a dot of glue right here and then push your straw up there and it'll stick. I learned that from Joanne Brandy. I can't take credit for that. If you guys don't watch her channel, you better check her out. She's pretty amazing. I'm just going to leave mine wooden because I feel like the straws that I have are like too much pattern going with the patterns that I have on here. So I'm just going to leave those. And I have a bunch of fun ribbons that I got at Dollar Tree last year. So check out their ribbon selection for Halloween this year. They have some really cute ones. So you can either just tie a bow and hot glue it on here, or I'm just going to tie mine right around the stick. And then just tie my bow. And if you leave your ribbon on the roll like this, then you can not waste as much ribbon because you'll only use the amount that you need and you can cut it right where you need to. I still need to put my gloss on this one. I haven't glossed this one up, but I wanted to show you one with the ribbon on it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and go ahead and get ready for Halloween. It's a little early, but it's about time, so get started.